Hi, this is Calley from the AISC Math Department. This video has been designed to help students and parents understand how tiered assessment improves learning and achievement for all students. Let's start by carefully examining the 3 levels of challenge that students will choose from in Algebra 2. First, let's examine the orange level, Show What You Know. These problem-solving tasks are foundational and appropriate for current grade level. Success on orange level depends on understanding and showing required knowledge and skills. Orange level problems do meet all the grade level proficiency standards without requiring novel applications. These problems meet levels 1 and 2 on the depth of knowledge spectrum, and we'll talk more about that later. For white level, students are asked to apply what they know and extend their skills in order to recognize and address some added complexity. These problems meet DOK levels 2 and 3. It's important to recognize that students completing the white level assessments will need to know all the material from the orange level. Also, it's important to realize that this is still on grade level material, but with some added complexity. Students who choose green level will be asked to abstract and extend what they know. These are extremely advanced and highly complex problems that stem from the grade level curriculum, but go on to creatively apply and extend the students' skills. They'll be working in very unfamiliar territory. These problems meet DOK level 3+ and require students to engage in significant abstraction. Depth of knowledge, or DOK level, refers to the complexity of the cognitive processes demanded by the task outlined by an objective, not its difficulty. Ultimately, the DOK level describes the kind of thinking required by a task, not whether or not the task is difficult. Level 1 DOK is the recall level. We ask students to show what they know. Level 2 DOK is skills and concepts. So we're asking students in this case to deepen and show their conceptual understanding. Level 3 is short-term strategic thinking. So students need to really extend their understandings in these areas. And level 4 we don't get to in a classroom assessment environment, but rather on long-term extended thinking projects. Levels 1 through 3 will be included in the tiered assessments. Let's have a look at a traditional quiz. Problem number 1 is a DOK level 1 and possibly 2 question. Students are showing that they can do graphing and algebraic solutions to a system. Problem number 2 is applying geometric prior knowledge in the context of solutions to a system. Problem number 3 is DOK level 1. Students are really showing that they can check a point in an inequality. And finally, problem number 4 is DOK level 3, because students are creating a system from a context. According to these DOK levels, let's make a tiered assessment. Let's take problem number 1 and problem number 3, which are DOK levels 1 and 2, and use them for the orange assessment. Problems number 2 and 4 are appropriate for the white assessment. A traditional assessment would have included this challenge question, which is frankly too challenging for most students to attempt. This becomes a green level problem because of its extreme abstraction and the use of various disciplines in mathematics. Now we'll make 3 tiered assessments that test the same objectives as the traditional quiz. For the orange quiz, we'll use numbers 1 and 3, but then add in 2 new problems testing the same skills at the orange level. For the white quiz, we'll use problems 2 and 4 and add 2 new questions that would be appropriate for white level. The green quiz would include a problem such as the challenge problem with perhaps 1 additional problem only, since these are very challenging, very abstract problems that would be time-consuming for students to complete. One common concern for parents and students is how students' grades will be affected by this new assessment method. First, let's consider a hypothetical student who's been relatively unsuccessful under the traditional methods of assessment. Hypothetically, this student might earn the following marks: a 5 out of 5 on problem 1, which is pretty straightforward, a 4 out of 5 on problem 2, which is fairly straightforward, but inequalities are usually more difficult, a 3 out of 5 on problem 3, because it requires prior knowledge to be accessed for success, and maybe a 1 out of 5 on problem 4, because struggling students are often unsuccessful with word problems. This student would earn a total of 13 out of 20 points, or 65%, which is a D under the old system. How would the same student perform on the orange assessment? Well, he or she earned 5 out of 5 on 1 and 4 out of 5 on 3. Similar levels of difficulty or challenge might lead to similar scores, so maybe we could extrapolate that the student would earn a 5 out of 5 and a 4 out of 5 on numbers 2 and 4 respectively. This leaves the student with a total score of 18 points out of 20. This equates to a 90% on the orange level test. Let's take a minute to realize that this student, who has been largely unsuccessful, feels great about their achievement on the orange level quiz. For a 90%, that student earns 3.5 grade marks. .5 grade marks earn that student a B+. So, in the original system, the student earned a 65% or a D in the old system. With the new approach, the student might earn a 3.5 or a B+, and also have had the experience of being very successful on the test. Students working at the white level shouldn't anticipate any major changes to their grades because students at this level have always been able to do the problems at the orange level, and so when we consider their grade breakdown, white level students are going to earn points along the normal 4-point scale. Okay. The other group that is seriously affected by this change is the green level group. Green level students have historically maybe earned 100% on all the required questions and not felt any significant challenge to their math program. On the other hand, these are the same students who are accustomed to earning really high grades, and so they might feel nervous about taking a very challenging quiz like this one that on which they might not earn top marks without that. So, green level students might earn In this case, only 4 out of 5 points for this problem because it was so challenging. Likewise, they might earn only 4 out of 5 points for this problem because they have to explain these solutions, and it is also extremely challenging. This seems like it would result in an 80% for these students, which is about enough to make them freak out, except that the efforts that they put forward are rewarded because they earn a 3.5 here, which translates again into a B+ for their hard work. Now, if this student is still unhappy with the B+ that was earned in this case, he or she is invited to come back to the white quiz, and they may always try again.